the discussion about approach and how that can be reflexive has to come into it, right? Because from the get-go, we've got to determine our relationship with the horse and with them with us, and we've got to assess their relationship with their person and assess their relationship with their environment, and hopefully you get to drop in and be part of that, actually, because that's the most potent thing. That interconnectedness is it's just, we can step into that anytime we want. That's just there because it's part of our life. And I think that for the horse, I suspect that when we do that, it's a great relief to them, because we're starting to act in a way that's much more consistent with the way that they communicate with us. Because when we talk about approach, if we're talking about reflexes, then because that looks at a whole concept of self-correction, and in science, one of the really neat words that we're relying upon, the word describes the concept of homeostasis, which is basically this idea that the body is always trying to become stable and whole in a way. Okay. Horses and people are interdependent elements. How can they kind of create some balance? And when we're walking into a barn or a working situation, one of the first roles is to take in all of that you see, right? But the horse, they'll be starting to assess you. That's the fun thing about working with horses, right? Is you're being assessed. So there's always that thing that we talked about with homeostasis going on all of the time, this interaction. It's just going on. So if we're looking at a reflexive response, and one of the things I've put in here is reflexes are proprioceptive neuromuscular responses. So right, and it's an automatic response. So it's not like we have to think about it. And we can elicit these responses by approach. So that is driving up, that is bonding with your horse, right? So how you put your hands on. By touch, right? So yep, we've got your hands on. By movement. Now movement goes back to, you might not have your hands on the horse. That can just be the way you move and moving with them. So that can be walking. Or it can be to do with body positioning, which again, you don't need your hands on your horse to have body positioning to have a reflexive response, because you could actually mimic something in your body, right? Or it's about a technical positioning, right? So you've got 4 main tools to use to start to initiate a reflexive response.
Her tail or anything else, was just that she's very slow, and as if she would be very content never to have to move at all. So that's what stood out as the most obvious thing for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Anyone else?
Like, all right, do I have to?
Exactly. Do I have to? Yeah. Like, life's been pretty hard for this girl. So, all right. Well, what about if I just mimic that? Right. We'll just walk as slowly as possible. I'm not going to not walk. Right? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be a bit forward. Okay, when I do that, is that all right? Mm-hmm. It's all just falling forward. So I'm going to walk very slowly and fall forward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that for 5 or so steps, and then walk for 5 or so steps normally, and then alternate that. All right? Can we do that? Let's go. So I'm going to walk normally to start with.
Why does it do that?
Normally again. Do that. I walk slowly, very slowly. I'm going to move forward with my head down. Walk normally. Right, we'll stop now.